Hi, welcome to real-time reporting on Redis data in Power BI using the CData ODBC driver. In this webinar, we'll look at connecting to Redis Enterprise data hosted in the cloud on Azure using the CData ODBC driver. My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm a technical marketing engineer with CData Software. Now I'll let my co-host introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. This is Gian Buikolo. I'm VP of Products at Redis Labs.
So in this webinar, we're going to walk through a brief introduction to Redis and Redis Enterprise. We'll look at an introduction to CData software and what we do. We'll go through an overview of the CData Redis drivers, and then we'll do a live demonstration of real-time reporting with Power BI and Redis data.
Thanks, Jared. Let me start by introducing Redis and Redis Labs. Redis is the leading open source in-memory database platform. It supports high-performance operational cases as well as analytical use cases. And Redis Labs is the home of Redis. It provides and contributes a majority of the code to Redis open source, as well as the commercial provider of Redis Enterprise, which is the technology that enhances the open source Redis with better availability, flexible deployment models, simplified administration, higher performance, and throughput. We provide Redis Enterprise as a service in public clouds where you can simply tell us which geography in which public cloud you want your Redis database in and get a fully managed experience. Or you can take the same software that we run for our public services and run it on premise as a software fully under your control. Few words on why Redis is so popular. One of the main reasons why Redis is popular among developers is performance. Redis provides low latency at high throughputs and extremely reliable in providing that throughput. So for many of the interactive applications, it becomes a critical component. It's sometimes used as a cache in front of databases that can't scale, but in many cases, it's also used as a main database, which consolidates both the caching and the database tiers into one. Redis is also popular because of its simplicity. Instead of just using tables or documents as a data model, Redis provides a rich set of data structures that allow developers to model their data in hash tables, if that's the best way to express the problem, or in JSON documents, but also provides first-class data types like sets, sorted sets, lists, hyperlog log, and many others. Another reason why Redis is so popular is its extensibility. This capability came in 4.0 of Redis, which is available in the Redis Enterprise platform in the cloud services and on-premise product. And Redis modules essentially enable anybody to extend Redis's capabilities both with new data structures and with new commands. We provide modules that extend Redis's capabilities, so you can index the data and query it, or provide full-text search capabilities, enhanced indexing such as Bloom filters, or enhanced JSON processing for native JSON documents processing inside the engine. Redis Enterprise, as I said, built on top of Redis open source. It's fully compatible with Redis open source, so your applications simply just have to change connection strings and they can continue to work if they're Redis applications. Redis Enterprise provides radical high availability with a clustered distributed deployment topology on-premise or in the cloud. And this deployment provides great availability, durability, and disaster recovery capabilities, as well as flexible deployment topologies like active-active geo-distributed deployments, where you could have multiple applications in different geographies, both reading and writing locally to their Redis databases. Using techniques like CRDTs, we allow convergence of those data across different geographies. It also comes with robust security capabilities, including integrated account administration, encryption, authorization, and authentication capabilities. Redis Enterprise also provides tremendous cost savings. Not only you would use RAM for storing Redis data, but we can extend RAM onto Flash to give you great cost savings for large data sets, but still maintain a very good throughput for your applications that want low latency access to their data. And it provides great automation and support with its ability to reshard and rebalance within the cluster. You can turn your dial up and down as you need additional capacity from each database. It also comes with great multi-tenancy capabilities to allow you to host hundreds of databases in a single cluster. Redis Enterprise also extends Redis's performance and scalability, both with ability to query that data that resides in Redis already using indexing and query techniques and search, as well as provides great connection management and throughput management through its enterprise layer, so that applications that need high throughput and more reliable latency characteristics can take advantage of the capabilities within Redis Enterprise. As I said, Redis Enterprise is the core platform for us, and Redis Enterprise is provided as database as a service product in the public clouds. You can get Redis Enterprise just by simply expressing which cloud and which geography you want your database in, and we'll fully manage it. Redis Cloud Private, you get to own your data and your compute, and we manage it remotely for you. So it's a new deployment technique that allows you to have better control over your data while we manage and fully provide a database as a service experience to you in your own VPC. We also provide Redis Enterprise as software. You can take the same software that we use to run the large deployment in the cloud services and run it yourself on-premise under your control. We call this Redis Enterprise Pack. It's downloadable on many different platforms. And you can also get a managed experience called Redis Enterprise Pack managed if you want us to manage that deployment in your private cloud. Now, Redis Enterprise technology has been a mature cloud service for many years. We have over 250,000 databases that we manage today, with over 7,500 enterprise customers paying for the service, and many more that reside in our free tier. We also have the software capabilities over 200 enterprise customers today, and we're growing. This is a fairly new capability that we started providing back into 2015. Redis is a versatile engine, and ODBC driver and JDBC capabilities from CData allow Redis data to be accessed from many different data visualization products easily with all of these cases. Redis can be used as a transactional database for price management, e-commerce sites messaging, location-based processing, session management. It can also provide analytical use cases such as leaderboards or counting or page ranking, recommendation engines. It also provides operational advances if you're doing real-time reporting and real-time search type capabilities. Just a quick overview of the architecture. Redis Enterprise comes as a distributed scale-out cluster. Within the Redis Enterprise nodes, we host a layer for the governance of the cluster. This is signified as the enterprise layer that you see in blue in the left-hand side of the picture. It comes with Cluster Manager, the REST API capabilities for programmatic management, as well as connection management through a proxy capability. Redis Enterprise nodes also use Redis engine as shards for each one of the databases that exist in the system. Each database in Redis Enterprise can be one or more shards of Redis, and administrators get to choose how many shards each database have, or by resharding can actually adjust that number. Redis engines that we run inside Redis Enterprise are also enhanced both in the way they store data, so they can take advantage of both RAM and flash storage as opposed to just RAM. They're also extended with module capabilities such as Redis Search or ReadJSON that provides native indexing or native JSON processing within the engine. The Redis Enterprise cluster is formed of identical nodes. It's very easy to scale. It provides replication built in with the cluster. That is local high-performance replication that protects against node, zone, or rack failures. Redis Enterprise cluster also comes with WAN-based replication, where you can replicate your data across geographies in long distances, either in a unidirectional form or in a bidirectional form, and deploy an active-active topology with Redis.
Thanks, Chihan. So I'll take over for now, give you guys a brief introduction of CData software, walk through how our drivers work, and then I'll pass it back to Chihan when I'm done to get the demo rolling. So CData software is a leading provider of data connectivity solutions. We provide standards-based drivers that allow you to connect to big data, NoSQL, and SAS sources using standard SQL drivers. So ODBC, JDBC, ADO.NET, we have Excel add-ins, and our list of solutions goes on. We have a wide array of customers from enterprise level with thousands of licensed users to a mom and pop shop that's using a single license for an Excel add-in to pull their data into an Excel spreadsheet. So the way our drivers work, it's installed software, not software as a service. The drivers can be run on-premise, on a public or private cloud. It's your choice where it runs because the licensed software is yours to put where you want. The drivers are embeddable and they offer direct real-time connectivity. We do offer some caching technology for those services that whose APIs are a little slower, but the direct connection is a major draw. We offer data integration from every major platform and technology. So our standards-based drivers, like I mentioned before, include ODBC, JDBC, ADO.NET providers. We offer SSIS tasks, BizTalk adapters, Excel add-ins, Xamarin providers. And the way that our drivers work is you install the drivers and you'll either connect them to a tool that you're already using or connect them to an application that you're writing. And either you or the tool that you're working with will submit a SQL query. That query will be processed by our driver, by the driver engine, and translated into an API request or a protocol level request for the service. So in the instance of Redis, we'll take a SQL command and turn it into a Redis command that can be used to read, write, update, and delete Redis keys, treating collections of keys as if they were tables. So there are a couple of strategies for working with Redis keys using the CData drivers. The first one is to use a Redis key as a table name. And this is really useful if you want to insert keys or update existing keys. So a sample Redis command, as you can see here, we're creating a hash key. We've got some fields, name, email, password. To mimic this kind of behavior with a CData driver, it does take 3 SQL commands, but it gives you granular control over which fields are added to the hash, and it gives you granular control to update those fields. So, we're going to insert into, so user:100 is the name of the key, and then when you're working with a key as a table name, there are 5 distinct columns, 3 of which are needed for an insert or an update. So we use the value index, which is the field name, the value, which is going to be the field associated with that field name in the hash, and then we pass Redis type as hash so that the driver engine knows to pass the appropriate command. If you were to, in the future, use user:100 as a table name in a select command, the table that's presented is the result that you would see. So the Redis key is user:100. We have 3 different fields in our hash key. So each of these is returned as a separate row with a different value index, value index, and value. Another strategy that works is to use a key pattern as a table name. When you do this, what we do specifically with hash keys is pivot them into rows where each field becomes a column. This is especially useful if you're visualizing Redis data. So as we'll demonstrate later, if you want to pull your Redis keys, all of the related keys into Power BI to do some analytics, using the key pattern as a table name is going to be the way to go. So in this instance, there are two sample Redis commands for creating new hash keys using the same pattern. So user : is the pattern where the 100 and 101 are the unique identifiers. So if we were to select star from user : star, where user : star is the key pattern, we get a table like the one shown. So Redis key is essentially the unique ID for the table. And then you have each field from the hash pivoted to be a column for the table. So we have the name, email, and password. So with the CData software and driver introduction completed, I'm going to pass things back to Chihan, and he's going to walk through setting up a Redis instance, and then he'll come back to me, and we'll look at Redis data in Power BI.
Well, thanks, Jared. With the ODBC driver for Redis, Redis data is opened up to a whole new world of visualization tools, and we'll see that throughout the demo. What I want to do first is to show you how to create a Redis instance in the cloud very quickly using Redis Enterprise Cloud. I have a subscription on US East on Azure and on redislabs.com. And all I need to do is add a new database. I'm going to name my database Database 1. I'm not going to put a whole lot of work into security here, so just simply activate this. This is a simple database you can create for free on Redis Cloud to try out the product. It's going to be provisioning this database for me within the Azure instance in US East. And pretty soon we're going to get an endpoint that we can use for our Redis applications to connect to. With the database ready, I'm going to pass it back to Jared to populate the data and run the rest of the demo. Here you go, Jared.
All right, thanks, Chihan. So what we're looking at here, just to get the things going, is the DSN configuration wizard for the CData ODBC driver. So this is an application that exists on Windows. If you're hosting the driver on a Mac machine or a Unix or Linux machine, there are different driver managers and different ways to configure the driver based on the platform that you're using. But there are a number of connection properties that are used to connect to the Redis instance. You'll need the endpoint, the port, and then if the Redis instance is password protected, you'll need the password as well. If you have an open Redis instance, then you can set this auth scheme to none to be able to connect without the password. There are a number of other properties for the driver, including caching, which doesn't make as much sense for a Redis driver. But if you need to connect through a firewall, if you want to log what's happening between the driver and the Redis instance, and there are a number of other configuration properties that can be used to customize your experience. But to ensure that we're able to connect, that I've got everything set up, I'm just going to click the test connection button. It was successful, so we'll close this and walk through connecting to the ODBC driver in Power BI. First, you're going to go to Get Data, click Other again, click ODBC, scroll through the available data sources to the DSN that we previously configured, click OK, and this will initialize the connection. As we discussed earlier, these are all hash keys that follow different patterns. The driver interprets the different patterned keys as separate tables. So we're just going to click through, select the ones that we want, and click Load. So the driver is collecting the data from Redis, and we'll be ready to build a report. And then I have a pre-populated report in Power BI. What we've got going on in the background is an e-commerce simulator, kind of an AdWords analytics e-commerce simulation running where we have a number of ads. Each ad has a number of views. Each view turns into a click. Each click might mean that a product gets added into a cart, and then depending on the whims of the users, each cart might end up being actually ordered. So this is our initial kind of data set that we've run into. One of the great things about Power BI is the ability to customize the relationships of the tables that that are visible from your data source. So what our simulator is doing is we have a bunch of pre-populated keys, hash keys, that follow different patterns. So there are going to be a number of keys that have the pattern add view colon, product colon, click colon, add colon, cart colon, and order colon. There are shared properties between each of these keys that allow you to build relationships. And these relationships can then be used in Power BI to create dynamic reports that can be drilled down into, populated in real time or by refreshing to give you powerful analytics quickly, leveraging the capabilities of Power BI and all of the performance that you expect from a Redis instance. So what you'll see here, so this is our count of order ID by product ID and ad ID. So this is essentially a chart that shows which products were ordered based on which ad. So as I drill down, because of the relationships I built between the different tables, which are actually hash keys in Redis, it'll isolate different things. So as I click through, you'll notice that different pieces of the report get highlighted. And then because e-commerce customers are fickle, you'll notice that some products weren't purchased, some ads weren't clicked, but all ads should have been seen by at least somebody. So what I'm going to do now is just refresh our report. So this is going to, so at this point, Power BI is sending SQL calls out to the Redis instance to update the data. A lot of the performance is going to be limited by, whatever capabilities the Power BI instance is running, but you won't see any issues based on pulling data in from Redis. The queries that we send, that the drivers send to Redis, are responded to in a very short amount of time, as you would expect from a Redis instance. So it looks like our data is updated. So as you can see, each time we refresh the report, we're getting some subtle movements. Maybe our e-commerce site isn't as busy as we thought, so the number of clicks, new clicks, the number of new carts, the number of new orders isn't changing. But you guys saw some of the things change, in relatively real time, thanks to that direct connectivity between the ODBC driver and the Redis instance. So that concludes our demo. Thanks, Chihan, for setting up the instance. So what do you do from here? I'd say get started. So if you're interested in downloading the drivers, the different versions are either in free beta or you get a free 30-day trial, depending on the platform that you're working with. Easily installed, easily configured. You'll just go to cdata.com/drivers/redis/downloads. And if you have any questions, we have a world-class support team that is ready and able to answer any queries you might have, help you figure out which version of the driver is going to be best for your needs. And you can reach them at support@cdata.com. And Chihan, I'll pass things back to you.
Thanks, Jerry. That was a great demo. When it comes to Redis, you can certainly come to redislabs.com for a download of the software to use the ODBC driver on premises. And we have downloads for Windows, Mac, or Docker-based images, or Linux-based distributions that you can use. You can also sign up for Redis Enterprise Cloud if you don't want to manage a Redis instance yourself in any of the major clouds that you see at the bottom. It's easy to sign up. We've got perpetual free trials, so you can certainly get started in an instant.
Thanks again, Chihan, for representing Redis Labs and co-hosting this webinar with us. There were a lot of really cool announcements coming out of Microsoft Connect. Our hope is that connecting to Redis Enterprise instances hosted on Azure using the CData drivers is one of the many new and innovative processes that you get to try. Today you all got an introduction to Redis Labs, Redis, and Redis Enterprise. You got an introduction to the CData software, who we are, and how our drivers create a SQL-like interface for Redis data, allowing you to work with Redis data anywhere you can work with the database. After that, you got the chance to see this functionality in action in a live demo of creating a Redis instance hosted on Azure, connecting to the instance using the CData ODBC driver, and then visualizing that data in Power BI. I'll leave you on the slide with the links to download so you can start working with your own Redis instance using the CData drivers today.